It's Friday afternoon. It's we actually have the cold one, the bold one. See, I'm hearing an echo here. I don't know
You're in an
if you're hearing an
echo?
echo. Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit
Oh,
of.
let me see. No, it can't be echoing. I mean, because I got on headphones. Yeah.
I hear
Let's see.
myself.
You hear yourself. Hold on a
Yeah.
second.
Okay. Now I'm not
Do you
hearing
hear
anything.
yourself? Okay. Do you still hear yourself?
When you had yourself on mute, I didn't.
And we'll just check it. Let's see. Why? Let's try that. Any better?
Let's see. Okay, there it goes. All right, now we're good.
There we go.
Anyway, we'll make do. It's a Friday
You
afternoon,
sure?
and we'll make it do what it.
We'll make
I don't
it.
want to say make it do what it
We'll
do.
do what it do. We'll do what
Yeah,
it do.
all right.
What
It's
do?
for the third time. This is a Friday afternoon here in Atlanta,
What day
and
is it?
I have to admit, it's Friday afternoon. Actually, I'm a little bit, after last night's tornado watch thing, I'm a little tired because I didn't go to sleep until like 3 in the morning. So
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I will not be held responsible for anything I say because I am a bit tired at this point.
Well, that's good.
But
You're pretty much tired every week, so it doesn't matter.
anyway.
Tired ass.
Okay, and that is your boy, the cold one, the bold one,
Oh
John
wait, I don't
Colterice
get.
Lawson.
You
want me to give you the
intro
spotlight?
this week?
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Here, all right. I'm going to give you the spotlight. Here you go. Who are you?
John,
Oh, come on, man.
the
Do
bold
it
one,
right.
the cold one, John Colterice Lawson, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Let me
That
get
wasn't
this.
bad. Come on.
Yeah, but it's never as good as this. I'm Brent Leary. That's how you do it, man. There it is.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
There it is. There it is.
You woke me up.
Oh, all right.
All right. Let's go.
All right. So at least it's a sunny day right now because last night it was a mess.
Yeah,
So I'm
last
glad.
night was loud, windy, and rainy.
Yes, it was. And
It
usually,
really was.
yeah, loud and like a blowhard thing. And that's usually where you come in. So it's nice to see you.
Gosh, that was like a train. I could see that one coming.
There it is. Well,
Yeah.
you still got hit. All right, so here it is, folks. I call this watching Amazon and then some because I really want to do and then some this week. Because quite honestly,
Really?
because I really haven't put the study time into
I got
what
some Amazon for you though.
you do. If you want to
yeah.
do something, but I've got something for you that I think
No,
is
you
going
can
to be
start. You can
interesting.
start. I'll pick it up when it gets boring.
Well, it might get boring right off the top because I have a question. And my question is basically, when is enough enough? When is enough being in front of social media? You're posting stuff. Maybe you're writing. You're on video. You're doing Clubhouse. When the hell is enough of you? When is it?
Me?
When it's way too much? Not you personally. I'm just
Okay,
kinda
I'm
using
about
you
to
as an
say I
example.
don't do Clubhouse.
Yes, but my point is, when is
When
it?
is
When is
enough
it?
enough?
When is enough in terms of putting yourself out there? You're always trying to draw attention to you by way of video or by way of Clubhouse. When is it enough for a person? When do we get tired of seeing somebody always putting themselves out there? I'm getting the notifications, and I'm saying this from a personal standpoint too, because I realize I do a lot of this live streaming stuff. Notifications are always flying out about Brendan's about to go live and whatever. But when is enough? When is it too much to be always pushing out there, having notifications about what you're doing or what you're saying or what video? When is it enough?
I think your audience tells you when it's enough because you start losing engagement.
How do they tell? How do they tell? Because a lot of people are like, they're not gonna be just telling you right up, man, you're on too damn much.
No, but I mean, you can start. I mean, it's all. everything's in the data somewhere, right? You know, so let's just go back to one channel. The one channel was email. And when people stopped opening the email or started unsubscribing, you knew that you hit that threshold. And I think people have to kind of play that same game on these multiple channels.
Do you ever feel like you're doing too much?
I know I do too much. I know I do too much sometimes, you know, and I don't know. It's a very thin line that we walk sometimes with oversaturation. And then sometimes, you know what? To be honest with you, it's the reason why pop stars go away between albums for a period of time. It's totally the same thing. You can't be on the radio all the time. You have to go away.
So do you think like a guy like Prince, who we both, I mean, that's our guy. I mean,
Loved.
how would he, I mean, he had so much content.
Yep.
And even back in the day, he found it hard to get all his stuff out. Remember Sign of the Times was really supposed to be a 3 CD album. It was supposed to be Crystal Ball. And the Warner Brothers said, you know what? We're not going to let you do this. You're going to saturate the market. I feel like there's all those guardrails are off and people are saturating the market. And more people are saturating the market. Remember back in the day, wow, it's gotten really loud. What's going on over there? Somebody fighting?
Go ahead. Go, just talk.
Okay. No, I'm just saying.
They're going to go in. That's why. They're all going in.
But it feels like maybe there were some good reasons why they didn't allow Prince to do a 3 CD, drop after like 5 or 6 consecutive years of putting out CDs. I mean, 1999 was a double CD. Sign of the Times was a double CD. And then in between that, there was Purple Rain, Parade, and Around the World Today. It just feels like now, because there's so much.
But wait, there's more. Because he also did. Yeah, because he also did Vanity 6. He did The Time. He did a Madhouse, a Sheila E. All of that music is his.
And he used different brands to do that.
No,
right.
They forced him to.
Right.
They literally forced him to. That was his big argument with the label, is they wouldn't let him put out the amount of music he wanted to put out.
And I'm saying those guardrails are off right now.
Absolutely.
Even like, because anybody right now can create something and put it out there and use a variety of channels to do it. And I'm just saying, it feels like we're all doing too damn much.
Possibly. Here's a weird thing though. I think it's part because of the environment we were raised in. And then I got my niece, and she's 15, and that's what they live for, is to put out content and consume content. They're content consumers.
But you know what? I would say we were content consumers back in the day, because we weren't really thinking about creating. I mean, the percentage of people that were creating versus not, just listening or taking it in, it was way bigger, right? But now, because of the tools, because of the internet, there are way more creators compared to what were back in the day.
Yeah.
Which means there's way more stuff coming out. And it just feels, and I mean, even like me, we do a lot of stuff, and there are people that do way more to a certain extent. So there's just so much out there. It feels like we're all out there doing more creating than listening or taking in content compared to a couple of decades ago. And it just feels like we're all doing too much.
Okay. Look, I get it. But in order for me to put out this much, I have to consume a lot. It's like right now, that's why I'm here, is because I'm consuming information.
Yeah, you know what? That's you, but I think the more the majority of people are not like you, the more people are way more concerned about getting their stuff out than really taking it in and creating something that is compelling.
Yeah, because everybody's got a phone.
Everybody's got a phone.
Everybody's got a phone, and the internet doesn't get overloaded.
My cousin Cookie says that you look like my other cousin Garrett.
He must be a handsome, handsome man. Just shut up. Just let it go. Just let
I'm
it
gonna
go.
have to have a talk with her.
Have to have a talk with her.
We can't be slighting the family like that. Anyway, anyway, no, I'm just it's just one of those fascinating things because Clubhouse, everybody is now gravitating towards Clubhouse, and all these
God
people are now doing Audible, or what do they call it, social audio. I like drop-in audio, but social audio. So now everybody's trying to get you to listen to them there. You've always been trying to get people to watch your videos,
right,
read your blog posts, and I'm
open
like,
your emails.
Yeah, open now. Newsletters are making a huge comeback. So now that everybody wants you to subscribe to their emails, subscribe to their YouTube channel, watch them on Clubhouse, watch them on LinkedIn Live. So I can't take myself out of this, but it just feels like it's just too much FaceTime or voice time for us to really be doing things in a way that will be at the most impact. I think we're doing so much that the impact of everything we do is being lessened.
So I posted this cartoon. It's funny. That says it's from Marketunist.com. Marketunist.com said, "No one has wanted to engage with our brand on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, or TikTok, but let's see how much they love us on Clubhouse." And that's where people are.
Looks like, so Sven is saying there's a massive echo on me, but
yeah, I wonder why, because I got on headphones.
Yeah, but wait a minute, let me mute you for a second. Now I'll do a test. All right, so I'm not hearing an echo. Sven, let me know if you're hearing an echo at all. Now that I just muted him for a second, and we'll see what we need to do. All right, bring you back. See, there's something going on your end. Yeah, it's kind of weird. All right, so I'll talk and then you talk. Is that how you want to do it? All right. Oh, now he's saying, yeah, the echo was back when Coda Rice was unmuted, but now he's muted. So we'll try this again. Yeah, that we're all trying to get people's attention. Basically, that's what we're all in this for. We're all, yeah, thank you. Oh, there's your cousin. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone because he is muted, and he never sounded better actually now that he's muted. So just think that. And oh, look who's here. Hi guys, it's Meredith. Wait a minute. Now it's the back. The echo's back. I'm getting confused here. Tell me if right now if the echo is still here, or if you don't hear an echo anymore. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that. But we're all fighting for attention, right? And we all have these tools, and they're kind of easy to use tools. They're very affordable tools. And every time, okay, there's Meredith. Wait a minute. This is so weird. One says, sounds good to me. The other one says, no echo now. Now say, no, it's gone. Oh my God, this is so confusing. All right, I think it's gone. I'll just act like it's gone for the time. All right, so anyway, getting back to this. So there's limited attention spans. There's endless ways that we can all create content. And we're all, whenever we see a social network starting to get a lot of play, then we all rush to that and try to get in there and try to use that because we think that's going to get us the attention we want from the people we want it from. And it just creates this massive, mountain of content. And I think a lot of that content is not well thought out content because it's getting easier to create stuff. So we feel like we have to create stuff right now to get people's attention right now. And it's not even compelling for the most part. Some of it is, but some of it isn't. All right, I'm going to let you go and then I'll mute myself.
Well, I was going to say the one thing is a lot of these people were not successful on their channel of choice. So they think if they multiply by 0, they're going to get an actual prime number or something. And the deal is you can't multiply, there's not enough channels to make people that are not listening to you suddenly listen to you. Your content is really going to have to be the thing that gets people in the door, right? And then once you get in the door, absolutely, there's a possibility to use that on multiple channels, because I find even with like Facebook groups, I have different groups that have different disciplines, right? So there's an e-commerce group, there's an internet marketing group, there's a social media group, right? There's a speakers group. And they're totally different audiences, and there's really not a lot of overlap. Go.
Okay, there we go. I totally agree. And what's kind of fascinating to me and why I kind of gotten on this tangent, the things that I kind of look forward to most now, reading and consuming, are these newsletters that some individuals are putting out, like Scott Galloway. Do you check Scott Galloway out? He just sent out his email. It was fat. It was like long form. It's very detailed and well thought out. There's graphical images. It's not tips and tricks at all. It's deep, relevant, interesting content. Another guy that I've been checking out his newsletter for a while now is this guy, Benedict Evans. I always want to say Benedict Arnold. It's Benedict Evans. Once again, deep, relevant, well thought out, and thought-provoking stuff. And I find that that's the stuff that that grabs your attention and keeps it long. Whereas the things that are popping, like everybody is, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to be on this. It's a bunch of, 95% of it is just junk. It's irrelevant, or they're just grasping at straws because they feel like if this is the thing that everybody seems to be on, I've got to get on there, and I've got to get on there quick because then I can try to get people's attention. It just doesn't seem to be working, and it seems to be really it's even impacting the way I look at this stuff, because I don't want to be lumped in with all that, and I'm finding it sometimes a little harder, to do what I do because of what surrounds all the stuff that I do. All right, going back to you.
No, here's the weird part. Amazon identified this a long time ago, right? Because they realized that there are two types of people. There's long format people that want the in-depth information, and then there are other people that just browse, and that's the bullet point people. And you've realized this recently with bloggers. They've got the TD, what is it, two TLDR, right? Too long, did not read. And then they'll summarize what the content is in bullets. And then I go all the way back, man, to when I was a kid. There were two magazines in my house. There was Ebony and Jet. Jet was bullet points almost. It wasn't in depth. If the longest story probably took up 2 pages and the format was like this big compared to an 8.5 by 11 format of the Ebony magazine, which was the long format. So it's just, and for me, I'm the kind of guy I want, if I can't read it in the bathroom, I'm probably not going to get through it unless I really have to. Look at you laughing, but you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's two kinds of people. If I get an email and it's a long format and it's like going to, take a lot of time, I'm not going to read it, but I'm probably not as good a follower of somebody's content as you are, because you're consuming that long format. So anyway, go.
So I would say this. I hate the term follower. I don't think I have followers. Not, I think people follow you in hopes that you follow them. I think that's kind of the main model of when you call somebody, because doesn't it bother you when you see somebody call, I have this many followers, and I'm like, are they really following you? Are you serious? Because if they're following you seriously, and when you tweet something out on Twitter, and let's say you got like 100,000 followers, and you tweet something out on Twitter, and 5 people retweet it, or 5 people how many of that so are those 100,000 folks really your followers, or are those folks who are really trying to use you to boost their numbers and to say, well, I've got this amount of followers, and look, this person follows me, and they're not following you. I know for a fact you don't follow anybody on Twitter. You've got numbers that say you do. You ain't following a person on Twitter. I don't really follow a lot of people on Twitter either, although technically it says I'm following 2,000 people. I can tell you right now, there is absolutely no way in the world I am following that many people. Maybe a handful at certain times. And even like this month, it may be this 5. Next month, it may be a completely different 5. It hardly ever gets over, 5. It never gets to 2,000, which is the technical amount that people use this term, this follower, to try to show that they have influence more than they try to influence, if you know what I'm saying. All right, going back to you.
Well, here's the thing, man. Okay, because you're talking about a platform here, right? Twitter is the jet again. It's a short format place for you to actually quote follow. And when I said it followers last time, I was just using that as an example because we're talking about you reading somebody's blog post. So, but they're interchangeable. The deal is Facebook versus a blog post versus somebody on your email list versus somebody on your customer list that has actually paid you. There's a huge gap between all of these, and they're not interchangeable. And I think people get very confused when they think because they've got 100,000 followers that they're going to do the same as maybe somebody that's doing 1 million with 1,000 followers. It's not a one-to-one thing. And I think going all the way back to what you talked about is the thing that Prince learned when he talked about how he made more on Crystal Ball than he ever made on Purple Rain, and it sold 1/10 as many as Purple Rain. Go.
I think he sold about 200,000 copies of Crystal Ball, and he said, I made more because I got 90% of the take on Crystal Ball than what I sold 25 million copies of Purple Rain, and he actually made more off the 200,000 copies he sold of Crystal Ball than the 25 million copies that sold for Purple Rain. By the way, Chris, page 43, Jet Beauty of the Week. Never forget it. Never forget it. Growing up as a kid, I didn't care at all about the other 42 pages or whatever it was. I was just in it for page 43. Anyway, I had to put that in there. But here's the thing. It just feels like people are trying their best.
Hold up.
Uh-oh.
I just got to make a mention about this. If you think about that, Brent, it was because the Jet was a different audience than Ebony, completely different. And that's why they could get away with that centerfold there.
You know what? I think the echo went away. Nope, it's still there. All right. Yeah, got him. All right, there it is. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, we just had to point that out because I was all over page 43 for my whole young adulthood. Anyway, the thing about it is everybody is craving relevance because they want to be able to. I think they want to be able to make a living, kind of using this stuff. But I also think they want to show people. They'd rather talk about how they can help you make a living, almost. And that's how they want to make their living, by telling other folks how to make their living. Let's face it, that's the whole coaching industry. That's all, all the, people who want to, the life coaches or the business coaches or the career coaches. Because if you look some of those folks up and look at their business, their actual business, not the ones they say they help, but their actual business, who in the right mind would ask these people for anything? But they're using these mediums to try to create the kind of the illusion to a certain extent. I'm not talking about all of them, but it just feels like these platforms are being used to try to create an illusion that people are more than what they or have done more than what they claim to have done. All right, go back to you on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And this plays into a post I just saw yesterday where a guy was saying, how can a person with 1,000 followers teach a person with 1 million followers anything, right? And I had to correct him. I said just what I had said to you on the last part about there's a big chasm between followers and customers. All right. And so I think you are absolutely right. Although these people are not new, the medium is new. The people are not new. The game is not new. I mean, before you'd have to buy a commercial to do it, and you'd have to have the boat in the background. Remember those from the 80s, right? It was the same thing. They were selling information. I bought plenty of them, but it was the exact same concept. The thing that really has changed is the medium, which has allowed more people to get into the game with a very low bar to entry. And all they got to do is buy the followers. There's places all over the internet where you can buy 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 100,000 views. There's a lot of shamming going on. Absolutely.
All right. So I ought to be careful about this, kind of how I say this next thing. I'm not trying to call out any individuals, but I want to use an example of
Here
why
we go. Hold your ears, folks.
I just want to use an example of somebody who I personally knows their stuff. They really, and they're not just talking the talk, they've walked the walk. But I feel like sometimes they feel pressured into having to do the things to get the attention that they want, that their experience and talent level shouldn't have to cause them to do that. Case in point, not going to say anything particular about any one person, but somebody that I do respect, that I do think knows exactly what they're talking about, made a little short video of them in a very nice location, chilling at the beach, kind of talking about, how if you want to be able to do certain things, kind of like I did, there's a way you can do it. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but the appearance of the video made it look like it was some kind of Tom Vu skit. The guy Tom Vu used to make those commercials like, don't you want to live at the beach like me? Don't you want to have multiple cars and multiple houses like me? Come to my webinar. And you'll be able to, have 10,000 women, on your arm and be able to make money just by having people listen to what you say. Come to my video, come to my webinar. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this person making this video, who I absolutely know is very credible, knows exactly what they're talking about, but that thing just made it look so cheesy, and that made me feel bad. It made me hurt a little bit. All right, going back to you.
Here's the thing. Somebody put that in their head, that this is the way that you become this thing that you want to be. It's not something that was intrinsic to that person. More likely, it was somebody that said, if you follow this method, you'll get this result. And that's what too many people are. And I look, I love Gary Vaynerchuk. I think he's great, but I think he spends way too much time out there. And I could talk about him because he's huge and he don't give a damn, right? But I think he spends way too much time telling young people you can do and you can dream and you can be everything you want. And I don't think he spends as much time talking about how for 20 freaking years his dad used him as a slave laborer, right? And then he ended up building a company where he does, he's got one of the most major corporations that does social media, but he doesn't talk about that part where the work is actually being done, you know. And I think there's a generation that's coming up that thinking, look, if I get enough followers on social media, I'm going to be rich. And that's just not going to be the case between him and the Kardashians.
All right, so maybe you can answer me this question. Why do people who are relevant, who are successful, who have experience, who know exactly what they're talking about, why do they feel the need to have to use these means and methods to show that? That's the thing that's really irritating me. Go for it.
No, I just went through this process, man. I just can't even explain. I'm at this event and it's like a private event and they're going around the room. Anyway, I can't even, but anyway, it got to me. And it was like, well, what's your thing? And I'm like, I ain't got no thing. I've been doing this for years, kind of thing. And then it was like, well, what's your thing? It's like, I got imposter syndrome bad. I mean, and I've known that, but the way he broke me down today, it was like so crazy. Cause I mean, I've done 8 figures all day. You know what I'm saying? You've known me for 20 years. I am that 8-figure person. And I never say that. That's never my calling card. I never walk in the room that way. And I think one part of that is like, you know, I think if you don't stand in this truth, then you end up mimicking the fakers. And I've found myself doing that before because I didn't lead with what I know. You know, I don't have to convince you. Matter of fact, he was yeah, anyway, but the deal is I don't have to convince you. If you need convincing, you can't afford me anyway, because the experience that I bring is real world experience. I'm not talking from some other perspective. But if I wanted to get out there and, you know, been doing the business coaching for the last, you know, few months, it's like even the people I'm coaching now don't know the, you know, it's weird. But at any rate, I think some people get caught up in their own head, and instead of walking in that, they mimic somebody else. You become a victim of your own, you know, sabotage.
I mean, that's really sad. It's unfortunate because then
No,
people
hold
that
on.
are
Let me, one more thing, because it is sad for you, because you're one of those people that are so comfortable in your uncomfortableness that that doesn't come across on you ever. It's very interesting because I know you know what I mean, and the things you do, and you're not trying to mimic nobody. It's very polarizing when I see you versus I know who you're talking about.
you said I'm comfortable in my uncomfortableness. Can you explain that a little bit, just to help me out a little bit?
Oh, okay. I mean, your uncomfortableness is not going out there and you you don't lead with your credentials, right? But you don't really want to be all that. You're not the on stage presence person. You know, you'll get on stage, you'll teach it, you'll walk to the back of the room. You know what I'm saying? That kind of guy. Whereas there's other people, not to name names, when they get on stage, they'll kill it. Be like, "Hey, come on over here and talk to me." It's just a little different, you know what I mean? So it's cool though.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. All right. Um, I didn't really expect to go that deep into this tangent, but it's just one of those things I'm trying to figure out. Was that
I'm just saying it's good stuff. This is actually a great conversation. Very timely.
it? I've been having this question for a while now, only because I I look over the last year of being, locked down for the most part, and I think over that year I've done probably about 3 to 5 hours of streaming content a week. That's a lot. It's a lot of talk. That's a lot of showing up. That's a lot of, this and that. A lot of good conversations. A lot of great people I'm having conversations with. But it's a lot of me as a result of that. And I've just been curious. Wow, am I doing too much? Am I out there? Too much.
Of course, look, what's it? Howard Stern does a 3-hour show every day. So I mean, radio personalities are on 4 hours usually for the disc jockey. Of course, they're playing some music, but don't feel like 5 hours in a week is a lot. That's not a lot. People will consume a lot. I mean, what is Joe Rogan's show? He goes 3-4 hours every show. So no, don't feel that way, bro.
It's just one of those things, I guess, as you feel like there's certain things you have to do, but then on the flip side is, are you doing it right? Are you doing it the way that is the most effective and impactful and is not intrusive? I think that's the thing. Maybe you can answer this one from Chris too, while you're thinking about that. What's the opposite of imposter syndrome? That's an interesting question. Go ahead, you do it.
The opposite of imposter syndrome is being an imposter. Let me say that again. The opposite of imposter syndrome is being an imposter. You can't have imposter syndrome if you are an imposter. Only people that are the real thing can have imposter syndrome. To your question, if you're enjoying what you do, then do your thing. I mean, the time commitment, I can always turn it off. So you're not intruding. This is not an intrusive thing. This is not push marketing. When you do these kind of conversations, it's not pushing. I could always turn it off. So don't feel that way too. People don't have to tune in.
That's the point that was made, because I've been asking this question a lot. I'm in this Newsweek expert forum thing, and they asked us, do you guys have anything you want to talk about? I immediately asked about this, and you kind of are in this same thought process as a lot of the folks that are in there. And maybe it's because I'm projecting my inward thoughts. Like, why do you think I want to watch you for 5 hours? And I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, generally speaking, where everybody is trying to get you to watch them. And so I'm like, what the hell am I going to watch you for 5 hours? I think that's what people think when I'm doing stuff too. So it's not that I think my stuff is any better. It's just I have this way of kind of funneling. I only listen to a certain number of people. I can only afford to give a certain amount of attention to these people. So why in the hell would people want to give me the attention when I'm not willing to give it as freely as it seems like they are?
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed Brent's uncomfortableness with being uncomfortable. You get me, bro. You get me, bro.
Hey,
hold on, man. Happy birthday. I'm so glad you're closer to my age this year. For this moment.
Yeah, for this moment in time, that's for sure. Well, let me see. You have a completely different personality than I do, and you have a different comfort level for certain things than I do. So do you ever get to the point where you think you're out there too much? Or do you ever even question, are people getting tired of me? Because my personality and my introverted mind, I always question that. But you have a completely different personality and a different mindset. So you take it from there.
I don't care. And here's the thing, and I'm being funny, and I'm glad you're laughing, but I've recognized, it's like, even I pulled up something from 2013 where people were on this platform and they gave me all of these compliments and all this stuff about, they were complimenting me on a podcast or something. And I looked at the names and I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen these people in my follower thing in years, right? But there's somebody else that's come in and doing it, and filled the spot. So that's not the churn I don't worry about, because those that are long-term are going to be there. Some people just get on the bus and get off the bus. And that's just natural. It's just natural. So I don't overly become concerned about it.
Yeah, that's where you and I, and I think am I okay? I think your thought process is probably the best kind of way to approach the current state, the current era of communication. I think my thought process is echoes back when you turn your mute on.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah. I'm good.
No, I think my thought process and approach is probably not the best to have in this particular. I think you're not giving a damn is way better suited to today's time than mine always questioning myself in terms of, am I getting out there too much? Am I doing too much? Because I think you're right. People have the ability to turn your ass off when they need to, or walk away and then come back. But with my kind of introvertedness, I get like, I don't even want them to think about turning off. But I think you gotta get comfortable with that thought process, because you can't control what's going on. They've got 8 other things going on, and maybe they just would rather spend some of that time over here, even though you're still going. And I think the more that you get comfortable with that mindset, the better off you will be in doing whatever you think is necessary for you to get to where you want to go. Quick shout out to Monique, and then over to you.
Hey, Mo, what's up? Yeah, you know what? I think also, though, the sweet spot is somewhere in between the two of us, right? And I think that's kind of the dynamic of us on this one podcast, or this video cast, whatever you want to call it. But I think the difference between us, and we balance each other out to some degree, and I think that's a good thing. And I can't go to your level and you can't come to my level, so we just try to balance each other out.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Because if I tried to be like you, it would be a complete fail. I mean, there's absolutely no way that I could do the things you do, because I'm just not built like that. And I think you probably have a hard time doing what I do or the way I do it, because you're just not built like the way I'm built. So I think it is, you're right. It's some kind of whatever you feel comfortable with. That maybe that's the thing that I should be focusing on, is the comfort level of me doing whatever it is, and being able to live with whatever the end result is by way of the kind of the reactions that you get. Because there's just no way, unless you're I don't know, like a Bill Gates kind of person, when you whatever you say is, people hang on it, and rightfully so. And unless you're to that level, you're going to have to figure out what is your piece that works for you, not just for your audience, but for you. Because I don't want to be doing any Tom Vu infomercial kind of stuff just to get to where I want to go. That, because it won't work for me. But I do want to be able to communicate and to the audience that I want to get to in a way that's compelling, that will get enough attention to start something. But I can only do that if I'm comfortable enough to put out what I want to put out, and not feel like, oh my God, am I overstepping my bounds? Oh, am I doing it too much? I just have to feel comfortable with that.
Absolutely, man. And I think we have to be comfortable with who we are, You know, I mean, people, you have to get into that comfort level with, and it's so hard. It's so hard. And matter of fact, when I'm talking about what happened with me this afternoon, he was like, why are you not what makes you uncomfortable? And I'm like, I was like, society put me in this box. He's like, no, you put yourself in the box because you believe those assholes. And I was like, dude, he's like, it's all bullshit. I'm like, and literally, trust me, I've been in these, metaphysical things before. I get it. But the way it was just so like, yeah, you know what? I'm tired of this crap. I actually started my business to go in the closet. I came out of the closet to go into the closet, right? And that's what my business was. And I realized, even me, right, is that I've got an e-commerce business. And I remember when I started my e-commerce business is so that I wouldn't be on the cover, right? I could undercover. I got Pro Speaker Funnels. If you go there, it's not me, it's been an imposter syndrome the entire way. I've made my millions and nobody knows that it's me. That was just me being in the closet. And I just realized this today. It's crazy. So I'm going to work on my being comfortable with me and who I am.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think on the flip side for me, I don't necessarily like talking about myself. I don't like talking about, kind of stuff I've done in the past or whatever. But I do want to make sure that I'm able to work the way I want to work and live the way I want to live, and not have to go into an office. I think the last time I actually had a cubicle of my own was 2001, maybe somewhere around that. And
When
I
they
ain't
had
missed it.
cubicles. If you think about it, that's a thing of the past, man.
Yeah, and it's probably for the better. But all I was really worried about was being able to live the way I wanted to live, not necessarily to talk about it or to showcase it, but just to be able to do it. And I'm not saying that to put any negative spin on folks who like to, hold their own personal examples up for how people can do things. That's cool too. It's just not my path, but that's been the main goal for what I do. Is I want to be able to say the things I want to say, work for where I want to work how I want to work, and be able to make a nice, comfortable life by doing that. Now, that's it for me.
And you know what? I think that all starts with being not just comfortable, but working from your own integrity. And that, I think, was the most uncomfortable part of the video for you, was it didn't feel genuine because you knew the person personally and you knew that wasn't the person. Like you said, all of the things that the person was talking to, you knew it was true, right? They've got all the credentials, but the personality that they were putting on was not them. And so I think, guys, if you're listening to this, it's all about integrity, being who you are 100%. Stop faking it. You don't have to fake it. You are that. So if it comes across as disingenuous, it really does.
Wow, we really beat that one up. It was good. It was a good conversation. Do you want to do any Amazon? You had something you wanted to talk about, or no?
I mean, come on. I'm going to talk about, peeing in bottles. So I don't. Amazon drivers peeing in bottles. We don't want to talk about that now. I got to go anyway. We got to wrap it up. It's been an hour almost. Plus, they got to clean the place at 5:00. That's what the guy was telling me over there. It's like, hey, we got to disinfect. You're sitting here without a mask. It's like, no, he didn't say.
That's right. Is this the first time you've been out? Mute.
Yeah. Oh, am I mute? Oh, no, you're asking.
All right. So is this the first live event you've been to recently? How was that experience?
it's interesting. It's interesting how, you know, because I've already had my shot, so I'm like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing it. But it's interesting how fast people sort of forget and go into their old methods and modes in terms of getting close, talking without their mask on. It's kind of weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready for that experience. Georgia just opened up so anybody can get their vaccine. So I'm trying to figure out when and where. I really want the J&J. I don't want to be. I like the one and done if possible, but I'll figure it out. But I'm glad it's we're able to start. You know, everybody's able to do it. The ones who want to do it, at least. All right. So this was definitely the and then some part of watching Amazon and then some. Maybe next week we'll actually do a little watching Amazon. But I just wanted to ask you this question. I wanted to talk about this because it is. I think I'm not the only one who's kind of struggling with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was very timely, man. Thanks for the open dialogue. I feel so much better.
And on that note, we will let you guys get back to your regular scheduled Friday afternoon programming, whatever that is. And we will be back next week. Maybe we'll be talking a little bit more about watching Amazon. Well, we'd absolutely be talking about it more because we didn't talk about it at all for the most part. But we will be back next week and we will enjoy the weekend and you do the same. See ya.